call to cloud. Okay, so class, welcome. Today we will be talking about our network configuration. And our table of contents, we have network parameters, check current network configuration, configure the network parameters. Okay. How do we check and configure network parameters on our system? There are several ways to do that. What are the network parameters on our system? The network parameters we have IP address. So when you hear network parameters, it's just more of what are the network configurations or the different ingredients that compose of your network on your system. All right. So we have our IP address. That is one of them. We have our host name. We have the gateway. We have the DNS, and we have the subnet max. We're going to go through all of that. So your IP address is your unique identifier for your system. All right. And how do you understand it? How do I make this simple for you to understand? Like for those of you that live in the Western world, or especially in America, we have something to call the Social Security number. Your Social Security number is unique to you. Nobody else have that number. It's like a fingerprint, right? Nobody else has it. So that's the number people use to identify you. Any part of America you go. Once they put that number in, everything about you is going to pop up. Okay? So that's the same with the computer. It's a unique identifier for your computer. Now we talk about two different kind of IP addresses. We have one is dynamic. We have the other one is what? Static. Dynamic, when your IP address is set to dynamic, it changes wherever you go. And if you connect to a new internet, a Wi-Fi, it's going to change. Your DHCP server is going to assign a IP address to your device. Now, if you have a static IP address, that IP address is permanent. It doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter what Wi-Fi or internet you connect to, that IP address is going to remain unique for your system. Okay? So, how do we find our IP address? When you log into your system, there's a couple of ways we're going to go over in the class. We can do the command IPA. So our IPA output here is showing us two different network connection on this computer. One is our local host and one is our remote host. Okay. And then the other command is what ifconfig. So ifconfig gives you about the same information that IPA will give you, but the ifconfig gives you a little more detailed information. Says, what do you mean? If you look at the first connection, the port number one, and this number represents the port that the computer is connected to. So on our port number one is localhost. For the IP8 output, it just gives you the um the IP address for this localhost, which is this. Localhost is always consistent. The number doesn't change for the localhost. All right. So our port number two, which is the ENXO, that's where our main server is connected. All right. If you observe here, the RPA output doesn't really give you much information um other than let me see here. Yeah, it doesn't give you much information. But if you look at the output for our ifconfig, second command we ran, you see it gives you the IP address for my computer is right here, right? And then it also gave me the net max. See that? Give me the net max, and then it also gave me the what? The MAC address. Same as the local host. Local host does not have a MAC address, but the net max information is also here. So if you need some more detailed information about your IP address and the configuration, your best command to run is the ifconfig. If you just need to find some quick information about what is the IP address of this computer, you just run a quick RPA. Okay. So let's move on. How do we find our host name? You just type the word host name. So there's the host name for my computer right here. Hmm. Can we change our host name? Yes, we can change our host name. Can we change our IP address? Yes, we can change our IP address. Okay? We can change our IP address. To make our IP address static, I don't want to go too much ahead of us. Let's just stay right here. But to change your host name, um, you go to, all right, let me ask this question, okay? Based on the couple of weeks that we have covered in class, right? And we talk about network configuration or system configuration. If I want to get any information about the host name, or if I want to change the host name, can anybody here guess which of the directory that host name is going to be living in? There's a $1 million question. Based on, system configuration from the lecture last week, the week before. Can anyone tell me if I want to change the host name on this computer, what directory is that host name going to be living in that I can go to change it? There's a directory that is responsible for system configuration, guys. Put on your thinking cap. I know we got some smart students in here. There's a directory that's responsible for system configuration. What is that directory? That's what the question is driving at.
Uh,
Anybody?
that's the root directory or the directory that has absolute right.
Uh, no, no.
Chris, check your chat.
Okay. Anyone? Anyone can give it a shot? I don't think my chat is updating on my phone though. Maybe it's in my personal or on the group chat.
Zoom chat. The student sending the answer. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Oh, wow, Bindu. Put your hands together for Bindu. That means you've been paying attention. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody else said something is solo. What is the similarities between RP root, pink, let's start system, and let's look up. You come and take me to cybersecurity now. All right. Etc host name. Etc host name. So though the question that you're asking here is going to take up completely off track. But we can touch it a little bit. Okay. All right. So the main answer, right? When I ask for the directory, Beno, thank you for your answer. The answer is right. But when I tell you network configuration, system configuration, I even defining it for you. The system configurations live in the etc directory. So in terms of password, IP address, IP tables, firewall, all those stuff, they all live in the etc directory because that's the system configuration directory. Guys, please don't forget that again. 'Cause I know we went over that. So if we want to see the host name inside of that directory, go to etc Am I spelling it all off today? Host name, right? Chat Etsy host name. See right here? API, that's my host name. And your host name is the name of your computer, which is the one right here. Right here. Root at the host name. Okay, Chris, I want to change my host name because I really don't like how my host name looking like this. Yes, we can do that. We just go to Vim. I let it recall my command and just edit them so I don't be typing too much. I say Vim, Etsy host name. And then we're in our file now. We're in the host name file. Guys, please follow this. We are going to change your host name and I want everybody to show me the host name. So you go to your insert mode and I can change the host name to anything I want. All right. So I'm going to change mine to Ubuntu-server. Okay. How do I save out of here? Escape, shift and colon simultaneously, and WQ. I'm out. Now, so Chris, why haven't it changed? Every time you do a change on the system configuration, the system has to be rebooted for you to pick up that change. All right? The system has to be rebooted for that change to take effect. There's a way to do this without rebooting the system, but that's a little more technical. Let's just go with a reboot option, okay? So that's a reboot. My computer shut down. Give it like 30 to 60 seconds. Turn your computer back on, and your host name is going to change to the one we put in the Etsy host name file. Is everybody following? Were we able to edit our host name, or I need to go over that? I gave an example of this last week. Told you one of my first assignment. Okay, thank you, Lincoln. One of my first assignment was it wasn't even an assignment. We were in a stand-up meeting, and the guy who was the only DevOps engineer for the company, small company, he went to India on a vacation. So there was a couple of computers they installed, and they needed the host name changed. Guess what? I did that without this. That was my first week. I just did a very simple thing and changed all the host name of those computers. So that's how you start building respect, on the job. Things they don't expect you to do, you just do it perfectly. You start gaining respect for you. So the little details information, please do not overlook them. Okay? Please edit your host name. I only seen Lincoln in here. Lincoln is done. Anybody else? All right, I'm gonna restart my machine now. So type in the chat yes. Type yes in the chat. My machine is back on. And guess what? See my new name? Ubuntu server. Ubuntu server. When you type in the chat, put your name, put your host name in the chat. Mine is Ubuntu server. Ubuntu server. That's my new host name. Please type your host name in the chat, guys. Put your host name in the chat. I'm waiting for you.
Yes, sounds okay with me. Okay. Louisa already told us before in the text. She
Never went down.
So
Amara
we're not gonna
server
bother. Lady,
is a host name, same as the DNS.
lady, go.
Kind of
Yes,
similar, but the insert
you in
cannot be
agreement?
yes folded. Okay. So the host name is just the name of the computer. Okay. And the DNS is more like it is it's represent like the name of the computer, but then the machine actually allocate that on its own, making it to be what human readable. I can't SSH anymore. Sorry, I messed up. Amara, what did you do? Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, reboot. That's good. All right. Are we calling your name and honor? So you'll be putting your name in here. Brian, what is your host name?
So I needed to tell you, I told AB the other day, I've not like, been a son, like you talk about. I've not even downloaded, in future, I've not been assigned any, AWS
Credentials?
account. Yeah, so I'm not
Okay,
familiar. I'm
okay,
just
okay.
following.
Okay. All right, no
He
problem.
said he was going to tell you to send me an email to do something.
Okay, no problem. All right, Amara, you back on? Perfect. That's good. That's good. Yeah, the instruction was to um reboot after you do the host name change. So Teddy, um, I mean, every time you're on the internet, we cannot be repeating everything we say here, but just for your business, let's go back. So we're talking about host name. My previous host name on this computer, you're not gonna see anymore. I already deleted it. But if you want to change the host name of your computer, which happen to be this section right here, the command to do that is via or vim host name. So if you run this command, you come in here, go into your insert mode, put whatever name you want to put in here, and you save. Escape, shift colon, and WQ. Get out of there. And then after that, you reboot the computer. When the computer comes back on, the new host name you put inside of this file, in this path, is going to appear here now as your host name. Okay? That's how we went over. So the DNS server is a service whose main function is to translate a domain name into an IP address. And the host name is the name of the server. Somebody asked this question on the chat. The difference, host name is just the name of the server. The DNS is a server, and it is a service that the main function is to translate a domain name into an IP address. So the DNS does. Then we got subnet mask. So subnet mask helps to know the class of the IP address that we have. To divide it into two parts, the network and the host the host address. What do you mean here, Chris? So the subnet mask, we have two classes of IP address, right? We got the IPv4 and the IPv6. Let's go into that a little bit. We talk about dynamic and static IP address. That was what we started with from the beginning of the class. Static is given manually. How do we make our IP address static? MN ABD install network manager. Okay, so the system does not have network manager. So let's see if we can install that network dot manager. Yes. So if you do not have network manager, please install it. I think my Red Hat server, let me see here. Yeah, so Red Hat will give you this. I think we went over this. You guys remember we went over this some time ago, I think the first or second week. So this one way how you can make an IP address static, right? So you come here, you say edit a connection, enter. Because this is a cloud environment, so we probably not gonna be able to. Okay, we can do that. All right, so if you look here, we have the profile name. We have the device name right here. And then we have our IPv4 configuration, which is on automatic. So we can change this automatic to manual, and then we can uh, put our IP address in there. Then we also have our IPv4. Remember the two classes of IP address I was talking about, IPv4 and IPv6. Okay. So right now, our IPv4 and 6 are set on automatic. So what type of IP address do we have on this computer right now? Basing on static and dynamic. What type of IP address do we have right now on my system? Kelvin, you want to give it a shot?
It's static.
And that's static. Once the automatic there is dynamic, it changes.
Yes. So it will be static when this is manual. But we can let play around with it. I'm not gonna change it. We can change it though. So you come right here. Let's say show, right? See that? So we can manually add, change this, put our IP address. We can change this to manual. Add our IP address here. We can assign our gateway, DNS server right here. We can add it there, right? And then we have some, some customization here. What is it? Never use this network for default route and blah, blah, blah. Okay. When we finish, we can cancel or we said, okay. So let's go back here. Okay, let's come to this one right here. Are we guys on the same, okay, we don't have it on Ubuntu. I'm using Red Hat. Let me see if this is done. All right. Let me see if I can run a sync command here and be able to access this. Perfect. Perfect. Let's do it on our Ubuntu server, okay? Did anybody need to install the network managers package? Or you already had it?
What is it? Is it MN? Okay, what you did? Okay.
Yes, I need to install it. Okay, thank you, Amara. Please install it.
First, I'm using the mobile license that connected to the school. So do I need to use Ubuntu address, server?
What do you mean? So the
I'm
server
not
that is
using.
assigned to you
It's
from
what I'm using, but I don't.
AWS, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
Well, that's what everybody using, Kevin, is an Ubuntu server.
But I see you
So
with Red Hat. I don't have a Red Hat. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I was just using Red Hat because the network manager was still installing on my Ubuntu server. I just came back here so I can cancel this. Okay?
All right.
Yeah, don't get confused. Let me get out of here so it doesn't confuse more people. Okay, cancel. And then we can let's go back here. And then we can quit. This is how you get out of here. All right. So guys, If you have not run this command, let me put it in the chat. Please run this command on your system so we can show you how to make your IP address dynamic or to make it static. Okay. Let me put this in the chat. If you run this command, the system will tell you whether you need to install the network manager or not. So please run this command, everybody. Run a command and let me know if you had to install your network manager. My expectation is that when I'm teaching and I'm doing some demonstration, I want you to follow. When I'm running certain commands, run them. When I'm doing certain things on the system, try to do the same thing. Okay? All right, Bindu, thank you. Bindu has installed it. Anybody else? I know Amara already have it.
Yes, I already have it.
Kona,
Mine said cannot, it said not phone can be installed with AP install
yeah,
network manager.
yeah. So then run the command they're giving you there, and then we install it. Just copy and paste it on your cursor, or you can type it in. The things you're doing here, trust me, people go to 4-year college for computer science. They don't even do any of this. So please don't take it for granted. Uh, if you have any question, you having any difficulties, let us know. Because you're here to learn. If you have any question, ask. I'd rather you to ask me, um, how do I be nice about it to ask a stupid question? I'd rather you ask me any question that doesn't make sense, and we can make it to make sense in the class. Than for you to go for a job interview and go ask question that doesn't make sense and then they meet you with a job.
I know.
Okay?
You come back home frustrated.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you 20 more seconds and then we're gonna move on, okay? We started a little late, but don't worry, we're gonna be on until 11:30 just to make up for the time.
Chris,
Yeah,
I ran that command. I see the network manager TUI. I said, please select an option, add a connection, activate the connection, set system
yeah.
host.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah, so just stay ready and wait for us.
okay.
Yeah. Guys, if you install already, run the network manager command, the mn3. I think that mn3 means network managers. Don't know what the T means though, but the UI means user interface. Can somebody research what the command means? Those of you that are waiting. I know NM is network manager. What does the T mean? The UI is user interface. So I do a quick research.
I'll try. Get it?
Yeah, you're saying something?
Yeah, I installed it. It installed never mind. Getting it done, but at the same time, the NPC are running and telling me nothing.
So you installed it successfully and then you run an NMTUI and then it said not found.
Yeah, I want to say, but I'm trying to say, package is get done. He told me I run it, then I install it, say done, but
You sure you
I
type
run
the
it.
command good? Check the command. All right, somebody
Yeah,
said TUI means text user interface. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. So network text user interface. Teddy, check your MN3 command. Make sure you type it in right. Because once the package is installed, there should be no reason why it should tell you not found. You got it?
All
All right.
I've done a rerun the project.
No, do not rerun the package. I said tap the command. Re-tap the command. Make sure you tap it in right.
Yeah, and TUI. States they tell me that to APK have been installed, and what I'm doing to proceed.
You said they're telling you what?
It says to reinstall. I've been installed APK.
Okay, then go ahead and reinstall it now. Maybe your network giving you problem too. All right, guys, let's move on. Today we'll catch up. So if you on this page, this is the page Solo was talking about earlier on. We have edit a network, we activate a connection, set system host name. See here? So you can also set your system host name right here. You can also do it on the command line and you can do it here too as well. Okay? But what we're going to be focusing on today, anyway, let's see this. So go to set system host name. See here? That was a host name that I assigned to it earlier on. But we're not editing host name right now. So we're going to cancel this. And your mouse will be running around in this UI, but you won't be able to click anything. So you have to use your directional keys to access all of these options, okay? So you use your up and down key, left, right, and stuff like that, okay? So we're going to edit a connection. Let's edit connection. You hit enter, right? The connection we have here is the Cloud Init ENXO. So we click on that. Not click on it, but just hit enter on it. Are we there? Please answer yes if you are. You there? Okay. So we're going to change this to manual, right? Manual. We can either disable it. We can set it on automatic, which will make our IP address dynamic. And link local, set it to localhost, or we set it to manual. So let's go to manual. Now we set it to manual. We come to show here. And then we come here. We're going to say add. Let me see. We're going to say add. And then when we say add here, we can configure our IP address right in here like that. So what am I going to do is I'm going to go grab the IP address from my AWS account. This is my Ubuntu server. This is the one that's running right now. So I grab my IP address here. Where's my pen and paper? Okay. It's 34,201,6012. I can put that in there. 34,201,6012. 34,201,60.12. 34,201,60.12. Just verify that. 34,201,60.12. That's my IP address. The reason I'm changing it because when my DNS at my house was connecting to this Ubuntu machine, it automatically assigned an IP address to it instead of using the one from the cloud. Okay? So what I'm doing now is I'm assigning my cloud IP address to my computer IP address so you can have the same IP address as the one in the cloud. And this is going to be static because what? I'm moving from automatic to manual. So every time I turn my computer on, there's an IP address I'm going to have. Are we following?
Yeah.
Chris, a question. So what if you did that, but you don't have any information from the next window, the window that you click, I think you said edit connection. What if you did
Mm-hmm.
that, but you don't see any information at all on the next page?
Oh, that because it's hidden. See what they got show? You gotta click on show, then for this to populate. This is what I'm talking about. Initially, when you count on here, okay, let me go back. You see what it said? Show?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you count on here, it's gonna be like this. So you gotta click on that show for the information to populate.
Is on your window right now, is there a way to go back to the previous step?
Of course.
Because I don't see that. I only see add, edit, delete, and then back.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. I can just come right here and say remove, right? I can remove this. Come back here, set it to automatic so we can just start all over. And then I can move this to hide. Okay. Same, we didn't touch anything in here. I'm just gonna say cancel.
Right.
So this is where you are, right?
Yes, I'm there. I only see on the upper right where you see add, edit, and delete. But the rest in the middle there, I don't see anything at all.
So you don't see anything where they got internet right here. You don't see anything.
No.
You're supposed to. So okay. Share your screen. Let me see.
Myself in that category.
All right. So if everybody else having the problem, just pay attention to what we're gonna do because I don't want to have to do solos and then have to do yours. So if you're
Okay.
having the same issue, please pay attention.
Sharing now.
Yeah, please share. Oh, this is what you have?
Yes.
Are we all having this issue?
No.
All right, so come all the way down to back. Let's start over and see.
Okay.
Use your directional keys. Your mouse is not gonna work in here. Then you go, okay, enter. Okay. Well, why is your UI like this?
I have no idea.
Okay, okay. Just go to quit. The UI is messed up. Quit.
Wait.
Yeah. Okay. It clear your screen a little, huh? Um, it, yeah, go ahead. Okay, this is how it's supposed to be like. So now we're gonna say activate the connection, set system host name. Okay, edit connection. Let's see.
Add the connection. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is the window that I saw.
Okay, go
Give me,
go to edit.
give me.
Edit.
It wouldn't allow you to edit because there's nothing there. It shows there's nothing. So it keeps jumping over from add, it goes to back.
Oh, re-edit.
Mhm.
That's weird.
Mm,
Um.
I'm thinking if I restart my machine, I don't know, because I just did the um upgrade of the manager system.
Okay. You upgraded it or you installed it?
I installed it. I did install.
Okay. Go back to add.
Okay.
Use your left arrow key to see if you can go in this box. The long one. No.
Yo, what? You doing the same thing to me now?
Okay, so click on add. Let me see.
So go back to add.
Click on add.
Okay.
Add Ethernet.
Internet.
Your stuff supposed to be in here.
All right. Seen it.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Thank you.
So no, you're not done yet. Come down to the IPv4.
I thought I was gonna be following you now.
I want to see something.
Okay.
Come down
IPv4.
to IPv4. Go to
Okay.
show. Go to show.
Show.
Enter. Okay, this is where I was, right?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, those of you that were having the problem, are you here now or no?
Yes, I'm right there.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
So start sharing
So
now.
now, yeah, you can stop sharing.
Okay.
Is
Thank you.
Teddy, are you on the same page that Soto on? Because you had the same problem?
I'm following from the machine there. Start a restart.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Chris.
No
I'm
problem.
following. I saw the step.
Um, Teddy. The machine here, it doesn't do you any justice, bro. Oh my God. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes.
So what I'm confused about is why I don't have your current um connection supposed to be right in here in this area. I don't know why I don't have it. Okay. But anyways, we were still going to go edit, right? Let's go to edit everybody. And then you can actually change the profile name if you want. I'll just leave it like that. Like I was saying, to show anything, to see any information about anything here, you got to go to show. To cover A, you go to hide. So we're going to show our IPv4, and then we'll go to automatic, enter, come down to menu, select, then you come down to add, you're going to add your IP address in here. Are we together? If I'm going too fast, let me know. So for you guys, you're not going to change this because the IP address you have on there, well, you can actually make it static though. You can make it static. You can change it if you want. You can keep the IP address you currently have. Chris, what do you mean by that? All right, let me just show my, okay, I got it. All right, on Red Hat again. I'm a problem here, so. Okay, let's go to Ubuntu. This is my Ubuntu server. Same thing, it's the same idea. So we come here. Oh, so this is what you had, right? Okay. Let's go to add because it's not there. Let's go to Ethernet.
Internet.
Okay, right here, this is what we should be. Let me get out of my Red Hat server. Let's remove this. Come back here. Let's remove that. Go back to automatic. Come down. Take cancel. And then we're gonna go to back. And then we're gonna go to quit. Okay. So if you want to use the IP address, I'm just using my Red Hat server to demonstrate what I'm saying. Somebody hand up. Okay, it's an admin.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm serving as a student, so I just want to ask a question.
Okay.
So, at what point, if you would like to go over this, at what point in real time at our job as a Linux system administrator do we have to do this?
Okay. So, like I was saying from the beginning, my very first week at work, I had to do this. Very first week at work. And I also told you guys from the beginning of the network presentation, right? Most companies you're gonna work with, they already have the network team. so you don't have to do this. But did I expect to do this when I got my job? No, I did not. But guess what? I had to do it. Okay. So is it important for you to know? Yes, it is important for you to know it so that just in case the chances of you doing this on your job will be like 10%, 10 out of 100. But it's a good skill to have. We were talking about dynamic and static IP addresses. If you want to make them dynamic or static, this is how you do it. Okay, but again, to re-emphasize, are you really going to do this on the job? Most likely not, because some of the company you work for, they have different departments. They got hardware team, they got a software team, they got a network team, they got a DevOps team, they got a developer, and everybody have their own functions. So if there was system configuration that come out like this, you're not going to be doing it, will be the network person. But in my case, where we only have one DevOps engineer, I'm working for a small company, and the guy went on vacation. They needed somebody to do this. If I didn't know how to do it, we're gonna have to wait till for that guy to get back from his 6 weeks vacation. Okay? So yeah,
Oh,
that's the importance of knowing this.
thank you, Chris.
Should we?
And the
Yeah, go
last
ahead.
question to this. So looking at all of those things, yeah, right? Is it possible that we also automate as an engineer to make our life easier instead of the manual step that you're teaching us as a student? Will it be possible in this class for us to learn how to automate this whole process that we just run a script, it just go and take care of everything for us in less than 10 seconds?
Yes, that's true. We have, I think a couple of weeks ago, I told you we have a project. Everything a couple of projects actually, everything I'm teaching you here is embedded in that project.
Okay.
Now, this is why I'm taking my time to teach this. It's easy for you to write a script or grab a script from somewhere and just run it and does stuff for you. But I think what is more important is to understand what the script is doing. It's the understanding, the knowledge, the concept. You can go to ChatGPT right now and type or write or create a script to change host name and make my IP address static and blah 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 blah. It will write it, and you will edit it to fit your environment needs, right? But if you don't understand what that script is doing, how now will you even be able to edit that script to fit your environment needs? Are we getting what I'm saying? So understanding the concept means you need to have the foundation. You need to have the foundation. Then when we get to the automation now, you say, oh, wow, this is easy. So all that thing we're doing, we can just do it in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or less. Yes, you can. But if we just run into the script, we do have the scripts. I told you we have the project. Okay? I can just come along, we can do everything I'm teaching you, we can do it in 1 week. But at the end of the day, do you understand what's going on? Do you have the basic knowledge? Do you have the basic foundation? It is important to have that. All right. So don't worry. We have 2 projects, but everything we're doing here is in that project. When we get to it, we're just going to run the script and you will see the miracle performing in a few seconds. All right. All right. So with this being said, um, do we really have to make our IP address static? No, I'm teaching you so that you'll be able to do it. If you want to make it static, that's great. If you don't want to make it static, that's still perfect. Just leave it there. Anytime you come, guess what? Your IP address is going to change. And you can even be on your own home network. Your IP address might change every day when you log into your computer, depending on the availability of that address that you used before. Your DHCP server can actually assign a different IP address to the same device. All right. So I've seen some chat in the comment section here. Let me see. I'm back. Same pace. Brian, okay. I will just follow for now. Machine malfunctioning. Just restarted it. Okay, no problem. Sometimes your system is a little little light on capacity. So some of the things you're doing here, these are heavy duty stuff for some machines. So I do not blame you when you're having any issue with it. Okay. So just follow. You really don't have to do this. I just want you to know how to do it if you need to do it. All right. So like I said from the beginning, I'm going to assign my IP address from my AWS account to this machine so that every time I come 201.60.12, I will have that same IP address, 60.12. Okay. So when we're done with this, we come down. I'm doing ABDA6. Oh, we're not doing this one. All that. All right. Okay. So I just added, what did I just do? I just added my IP. First of all, you change it to manual, put your IP address in. Everything and just go to where I want it to go. That would be great. Okay, right there. And then after that, I just go to hide. And then I come here all the way down to OK, enter, and that's it. So now I will come here to back. I go to back. And then let's see here. Okay, that is done. I have just changed my IP address on the system. Now, Chris, how does that come into effect? I told you, every time you do a configuration change on the system, it has to be rebooted. Are there ways around it for some of them? Yes. There are some system configuration you change. There are commands you can run that you don't have to reboot. In this case, I'm just going to run reboot. Let's give it like 30 seconds. In the meantime, let's move on. Okay. So we did static IP addressing, we did dynamic, now what we just went over. So what happens, hold on a minute. What happens before we connect to a Wi-Fi network? When you want to connect to a device on a company or even a personal computer like a Wi-Fi or at home from your phone, connect with your Wi-Fi to your computer or your desktop or your tablet, whatever it is, right? The DHCP server, it automatically assigns an IP address to your device. I already said that before. Chris, what do you mean by DHCP? I already found out how to pronounce this acronym. DHCP. What do you mean by that? Typical example of a DHCP server is your router, the Wi-Fi router at home. The router is the one that route traffic and send IP address to your computer or your cell phone. And just so you know, guys, anything that connects to the internet has an IP address. It can be a smartwatch, it can be a tablet, it can be a computer, and just list. Sometimes some people that have TV, your TV have an IP address once they connect to the internet. Some people have smart home where the refrigerator, the microwave, everything connected to the internet. All those things have IP addresses. This is why network security is very important because if somebody get a hold of your IP address, even your security camera at home, it has an IP address. If somebody hack into your system and get hold of your IP address, they can do a lot of things to your security cameras unknown to you. So your IP address for the system is very, very, very unique. Okay? So every time you turn your computer on or your device on, you connect to that Wi-Fi, put a password in, then the DHCP server assign an IP address to the system. Okay? Let me come back here and see whether my Ubuntu is ready to go. It's ready to go. Okay, Chris, all the things we're talking here now, show all your IP address, right? To see whether it changed. And nope, my IP address did not change. It did not change. Why didn't it change? Let's check it out. You see. Just bear with me. We're not doing anything. We just want to see why it didn't change. Oh, that because we assigned a new connection, which was this one. There was the original connection and we assigned a new connection. That's why. Okay. But we shouldn't waste much time with this. Like I said, I just need you to know how to do it. We don't need to do it. All right. So let me quit. Let's move on. All right. So once you connect to that Wi-Fi, the router, which the technical name for it is a DHCP server. What do you mean by DHCP, Chris? The Dynamic Host Control Protocol. Dynamic Host Control Protocol. That's what I mean by DHCP. All right. So why do we configure the network? Just typical example for the question the question my colleague asked earlier. Why do you need to know how to configure network? In a company or a data center, the network administrator usually set up the IP addresses. That's what I was telling you from the beginning, right? In a bigger company, that's the network administrator job, right? They can set it up manually to, to the servers and the devices. Now, in the enterprise environment, your IP address, they have to be dynamic. They cannot be what? Or they have to be static, rather. They cannot be dynamic. Because if you have your IP addresses to be dynamic, you can break stuff in production. Everything in production, it has to have a constant connectivity. Constant connectivity. If connection go down for even 1 second, company can lose millions of dollars, thousands of dollars. That's why the network administrator have to make sure that every device that is connected in a company, they have to have a static IP address. There's nothing about dynamic in production environment. Okay? If the IP addresses are managed by the DHCP, they might be changing each time the device is reconnected to the network. And what happens? Say you have thousands of servers in production. Before you go low, all the IP addresses change. What will happen? You will confuse the whole system. It will go down. Because they know that I'm communicating with this server. There's the address of this server. In order for the application to run, I need to have constant communication with this server. So when I IP address change, it like you always visiting somebody, right? You know the address. The person moved, they didn't tell you. When you get to the house, you can see new people in the house. You're gonna get confused. That's how the system operates. So IP addresses in an enterprise environment, in a production environment, they have to be static. This is informational. You might not need this on the job, but you never know where you're gonna learn for a job. Okay, so we ran the network manager command line, which is the MCI, the M3. We ran that too. Network manager tool utility. We ran that, and we were able to learn how to make our IP address static and how to also make it dynamic, right? Okay, so let's move on here. DNS. So I want to show you guys something. Okay, I want to show you guys something. Let me reshare my screen to this computer. Give me 1 second. Show you something real quick. Oh, sign out. Okay, no wahala. So my other computer is signed out. I don't know how. But let me show you something rare here real quick. That it's important that you know this. Very, very, very important that you know this. Okay, right here. Okay, so when you do network configuration, your DNS server is almost the same IP address as it has the same address as your IP address, but the only difference is the DNS server ends in a 1. So if you look at the IP address on the example, you have 192.168.1.161. If you look at the DNS server, it got 192.168.1.1. This is constant. It doesn't change. Subnet max, this I have never seen it change before. Whether it's interchangeable, it might be, but I've never seen this change before. Gateway and the DNS server, they both have the same IP address. It's important to know this information. Like I said, my job as a developer engineer for the job that I do, it's a smaller company, so I do all of this stuff. Do all of this. You never know when you're going to learn tomorrow. So the information is very important for you. The IP address, almost the same as the gateway and the DNS server, and the gateway have the same IP address. And then the IP address and those DNS and gateway, the difference is the any1, both of them. And then there is the unique identifier for the computer. There's 161. That is the actual identifiable number for this computer. The 192.168.1, this is going to be what? Across all devices on the network. The unique number for this computer will be the last octet. They call it octet. They got the first octet, second octet, and fourth octet. All right. So let me not run too much ahead of myself here. There we go. So network path, this 192.168.1, every computer, every device that is connected on the network, they're going to have the same, the 3 octets is going to be the same. The last part is the host name, the host part. So this 161 is unique. It's assigned to this computer. No other computer is going to have 161 on our entire network. Okay. So let's go here. You can change your host ID. Okay, we shouldn't waste too much time here. It's the same information I was just giving you about IP address, subnet mask, DNS. Okay. And it's telling you how to do this on a Mac computer. Guys, please, in all my years of experience, 99.9% of the computers that engineers use are Windows computers. You can use a MacBook, but there are certain applications you won't be able to run on a MacBook. Typical example, MacBook does not have mobile XTEM. I don't know if they have it now, but for what I know, MacBook does not have mobile XTEM. So there are some applications that are vital to your job that you will not be able to use if you're using a MacBook. All right, admin got a hand up. Somebody got a hand up?
That's an old hand, Chris. I'm going to bring it down.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So guys, we're almost done with this. This just showing you how to do this on the MacBook. Virtual machine, we're not using virtual machine anymore. You now have a computer from the cloud. So we do not need to do this. Yeah, this is what I was showing you earlier, right? Set host name, edit connection. So basically, like I was telling you, I can sit down here and just lecture you on different topic without looking at the PowerPoint. but sometimes I want you to have a visual of what I'm talking about, so you know what we're talking about. So everything I'm showing here now, we already went through that. All right. And then when you're done with that, you can restart the network. Sometimes the network will restart, sometimes it won't, from my experience. You run this command service restart or systemctl, it will restart sometimes, and sometimes it won't. So what you have to do, just reboot the system. Okay. So what about the xresolve? This file that contains DNS configuration. Yeah, I've dealt with this file a couple of times. We can take a look at it. Okay. Let's take a look at the xresolve file. Okay, pull up your terminal, pull up your machine, and go to your mobile extern. So cat etc. Why are we in etc? Because while we're on system configuration, right? We're in etc because we are doing system configuration. What do we have here? Right there. Okay. This file, you're never gonna have to deal with this file. But I have a couple of times just doing some research and troubleshooting and stuff. I had to make some edit on this file. The name server for one of our computer was wrong, so I had to change it. Okay, just to show you that. Let's come back to our PowerPoint. All right. If you want to go back to dynamic configuration, DHCP, you just go back to inventory, edit the connection, and change manual to automatic. Simple as that. Okay. So look at this. FC sysconfig network scripts. So this path right here, this is a Red Hat path. I'm not sure if we have this on Ubuntu. Let's give it a shot. Okay. Give it a shot and see. I mean, that is saying, oh, hey, guys, so
No, that new hand, Chris.
okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to just show a little light on that
Okay.
that resolve file,
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
PowerPoint that you just shared, because I mostly kind of deal with it, and I thought it could be somehow, especially that most of our Linux servers or
Mm-hmm.
Ubuntu servers, like being distribution wise, uses that, especially when it comes to the decentralization aspect of networking. So I just wanted to touch on that so that the student would know what that
Yeah,
file.
sure.
So
Sure.
if you can go to the PowerPoint, I just my computer not on, so I just want to do it from the PowerPoint, please.
Yeah. FC resolve.
Yeah. So
Did I pass it?
and yeah, you pass it, so you think gotta go in for a little bit. Yeah, right there. Oh no, go back. Stop. Yeah.
Okay, right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, this is very, very important as your instructor said. The etc directory. This is where everything happened. Everything configuration wise about your server is located in the etc directory. We call it what? etc, or some way you say etc. Right? So
Okay.
in here you find the resolve. Now, what is a resolve? Every computer have a fully qualified domain name, which is the DNS, right? That DNS, anytime you hitting an endpoint, what is an endpoint? Every one of you that sit here, log into your account, right? Log into ABDA website, and then you went in your student portal. Now, the address that you hit in abda.com, it is our DNS. You understand? That's technically, like Chris stated earlier today, is our IP address. But because the computer does not know what DNS means, so it translates that into the IP address, which is the language of the computer, which is for the internet protocol. Now, this resolver makes sure that every time you hit an endpoint, it checks in that endpoint to make sure that that match what you're trying to look for. All right. So if you go in this configuration and it sees that nothing there match, you're going to get a timeout. All right. So Chris, if you just put on your command line interface, let me just demonstrate the one command. Sorry, my computer, yeah, it's not functioning correctly. So in your command line interface, Chris, if you can just put ns lookup and ns lookup ABDA, yeah, ns lookup ABDA ABDA cloudx.com. Yeah, cloudx.com. Yeah. No, the cloud, add the D there before the X. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, and then you hit enter. NS lookup. Let me.
This NS lookup.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get you I think that the issue is coming from the ABDA. Just give me 1 second. Let me show this in the chat here.
ABDA. Okay.
Oh, your command does not have NS lookup installed? Your system?
Yeah, I probably have to upgrade this
No,
system.
I mean for you to open your CMD, not your server, because they don't have it, right? Your Red Hat don't have NS lookup, but your actual CMD prompt on your actual physical host.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can run, the NS lookup ABDA cloudx.com. No, you gotta take that HTTPS from there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So guys, you see there, that is your DNS. So you can tell us, I mean, we can all see here that our DNS is resolving to those IPs. Like what Chris was saying, those IPs you see there, they are your resolver. If you go in the ifconfig of our ABDA website, you're going to see those IPs. Those are what? The DNS, the domain name or the fully qualified domain. That's how that name called ABDA, ABDS came about. So I just want you to know whenever you hear about resolver or DNS, you should know that these are the things that we're referring to. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, AB. That was a very, very good input. Thank you so much.
Now, here's a
All right,
question.
guys.
Here's a question
Yeah.
about that. Is it gonna be different on each person's computer? Because I ran the same command, ns lookup space abdacloudx.com, and I got server as 127.0.0.53, and then address is 127.0.053 number sign 53. It says next, it says non-authoritative answer. Name abdacloud.x. Address is 191.101.104.35. Name, which is abdacloud.com. Address is 2.2.1.2.1.212.21. So my question is, because I'm looking at Chris's computer, and it's different, isn't
Yes.
it supposed to be the same?
No, it's not. It's not going to be the same, right? Now, think about what Chris stated today. Your gateway, right? When you leave in your house, when you dying through your internet, which is your gateway, right? Your router. Your router is your proxy. Is a proxy that interpreting that IP address into what? A different dynamic format, right? Which is technically not the same IP address you're going to see on Chris' system, not the same IP address you're going to see on my system, because ABDA CloudX is hosted in the cloud, which of course the public IP that it uses is dynamic. So it changes based on where you're routing from. That is the work of the proxy. So the proxy is routing all of those IP address into different format as a broadcast. Yeah.
I do believe that, because I think Chris is using command prompt, which is the Windows sign, and I'm still into the Ubuntu server, and so that makes sense that it's going to be different.
Yeah, so those are all routes, routing through different sources. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that is it. So please, guys, every students in here, please pay attention to these things. You will sit in the interview, they will ask you, what is a route? What is an IP? It will shock you, right? Because it's very common. You'll be like, wow. Because if you pay attention to them, you're going to know them. Everything that Chris is teaching in here, what a one command is very important to your job. Yes, it can even cause you to, to even lose your job, because if you don't know these things, it make you look somehow in front of your manager. So please pay key attention to these things. Again, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, this, I just want to emphasize this area that says server. So this is gonna be unique. It's gonna be different depending on the provider you're using, right? So this is from your provider. For me, I use TDS. So if you look in here, you see
And
TDS.net
mine
in
is
here.
Comcast too. Yeah, that's
Yeah. So this is provided by your internet provider. Okay. So thank you, AB. That was a great insight. Thank you. Appreciate that. Why I couldn't connect to this from here? Okay, my system probably need to be upgraded. Let me try Ubuntu. Okay, yeah, Ubuntu
okay,
has it.
Chris. You let Red Hat business at the risk of the problem there.
Because the rare environment I work in, so I'm very, yeah, so Ubuntu has it. My Red Hat has to be upgraded to get it NS lookup. Um, NS lookup remind me about cybersecurity. But anyways, we'll get there. Okay, guys. Let me see what time is it. Let's take a 15-minute break and come back at 10:30. Okay? From 10:30, we're pushing this straight to 11:30, and then we'll be done. All right. So let me see where we stop. Um, okay, the SC resolve file, we went over that. Um, this is the path to your network configuration. Okay, we can start from here when we get back. Again, this stuff, you're really not gonna do it, but I do this on my job, I would say maybe once or twice a week, when I have to configure a server that will install, and then I have to go to this path to configure the port, assign IP addresses, MAC address, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's stop here. When we come back by 11:30, sorry, 10:30, we can continue from there. Let me put a timer on here. So 15 minutes timer. All right, guys, let's go for a break. We'll be back. 15 minutes. All right, guys. Hopefully you're back now. Let's go into this. Sysconfig. All right, are we back? Please. This must be all right. Are we back? Answer yes, if you are back.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Um, network script. Tab key does not allow me to. Let's see here. It's not a directory. All right, let's go here. Let's see what we have in here. All right, so that is network. CD network. Oh, okay, it's a file. Okay, so we don't have a full path of this. So this was not set up like that. Let's see Ubuntu what we have. Let's see the manager systemctl config. Let me see if we have network. Okay, right here. Network config. Okay. NF table config. Okay, then we'll have network. Okay, CD. Is it a directory? Yes, it is a directory. Network. L. Okay. All right, guys. What am I doing here? I'm just showing you where our network configuration lives, right? For the Ubuntu server, it's gonna live in here. Let's see network. For Red Hat, it's usually um. No, that's not what I need. PWD. Yeah, so for Red Hat, it's usually etc sysconfig and then network script, but that has not been set up in that way. This is not set up in that way. So we only have network here. So if we cap network, I'm not too sure we can change much in here. Let me see. Yeah, networking, yes. Yeah, this is not what we need. So usually for the network configuration file, for Red Hat will be fc sysconfig and then network script. And then Ubuntu will be etc network. And then you have the different ports in here you can configure. Okay. Um, that's exactly what it was showing us here. So Vim enp. So this file right here, the if configuration in a enp03. This file lives in this directory. It lives inside of this directory. So if you needed to assign a port to the network, you go to this direction, to this file, and then Vim into this connection. In here, you edit the IP address, the net mask, subnet mask, all that stuff, and then you can save and quit. Okay, so this one has to do with little technicality because you are editing a file. So that's why you see it say for beginning the mi3 method is the simpler way to use, but this is a more professional way to go about it. Go to the direction, to this directory, edit this file, put the IP addresses in there, and then you save and quit, and then restart the network. So what we were going over before, the network configuration, IP address, host name changes, and stuff like that, there's two ways to do it. There are two ways to do it. One is you can use the command line, and then the other way to do it is you can use the first method we used before. All right, let me see what I have there. I'm trying to find it. Okay, right here. So the mf3 command we ran and we're manually editing the network configuration. There's a command line command for it. Host name CTL set dash host name, and then the new host name you want, you set it there. Do we want to do that? Yeah, let's give it a try. Okay. Let me do my Red Hat server. So we say host name CTL, right? Host name CTL, and then we'll say set dash host name, and then we'll call the server, let's just call it Red Hat. Okay, Red Hat. Enter. And then after we do that, what do you do is you restart the network. System CTL, restart. Network. Network the service does not fail the restart network the service unit network the socket. So in this case, what you have to do is you have to reboot. Then we turn the computer back on, that's gonna pick it up. All right. I think I'm seeing is there questions in the chat. Okay, people back. If you have any questions, guys, let me know. We're almost at the end of this stuff. So, all right, static IP. We went through all of these. This to do this manually, like we went over before. And then the other way I was just showing you is to use the command line interface. And then after that, you use systemctl restart network and restart. If you run into the error that I showed you earlier, you reboot the machine. You reboot the machine. When the machine come back on, you see right here, the host name change. Are we following? Please answer yes. Are we there?
Yes, I noticed you're working in Red Hat, but is that the same thing with Ubuntu?
It does the same thing.
Yes, it'll be the same thing. Computer is frozen again. Oh, there we go. Okay. So there's the command you run to change the host name on your CLI. Let me put it in the chat. And then, again, let's see. Let's come to Ubuntu here. Paste that in here. And let's see what happens. Same thing. So system, CTL, restart, network. I don't have network the service in here too. You see, the unit is not found. Reboot. Okay. So that's how you do it, guys. So instead of going through all that, the network manager text user interface and using arrow keys and blah, 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 you just run this command. So when we automate this, like AB was talking about before, when we automate this, there's a command that will be put into that script to run. It will be ran automatically, restart the system or reset the system automatically. Okay. Let's see what we got here now for the Ubuntu server. It's not back up yet. See. Not yet. I will be able to come back up. Okay. Yes, it did. So you see here, the host name has changed to Red Hat. All right. That's how you do it. So moving on. If you have any question, guys, please put your hand up, text in the chat. I'm passing all these things because these are stuff we went over, right? So manual IP configuration is best when the device are um, static. Example, a company or data center, as I said before, when the devices are mobile, you can displace all the it can be displaced all the time. It's better to allow the configuration to be automatic. They make sure everything is okay after the configuration. Run a command, Google, ping Google. The IP address we have assigned manually to our server can be used for remote connection with our SSH2 as usual. Always remember to create many clones and do snapshot of your server. So cloning and snapshotting, we do that on VirtualBox. We're not using VirtualBox right now, but you can also clone in the cloud as well. Cloning means just to make a copy of the server. All right, so play around with MN2E, and if you encounter any issue, feel free to post the questions in the WhatsApp group, and we'll be glad to help. So see you guys in the next class. Moving on, guys, we're making some progress. So if you see this error here, right, this is for you to leave for review. If your instructor sucks, or if you can run too much with the instruction, or if he's doing good, he's doing okay, any recommendation, you can put it right in here. Just come here. I loved this session. Learning about network configurations. Come down here and say thanks, Prof. That's it. Except post a comment. So you can do that as well, okay? All right. So moving on, guys. Moving on. Let's go to system monitoring and performance. System monitoring and performance. So for our system monitoring and performance, we will be monitor Linux, key metrics, monitoring approaches, and we're gonna look at a CPU, memory, disk, input and output, networking, and then overview, our top command, key view, real-time monitoring, and stuff like that. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. When we started the class before, there was a few command lines that we ran, and this just kind of go a little depth into those. Okay, so this one here, we're going to be very practical with it. So guys, please put on your machines if you haven't done that. I know that some of you don't have your machines with you, so if you haven't done so, please put on your machine because we're going to be going into some practical. I don't want anybody to be left behind. All right. So I will assume we all have our machines up. Now, how do we access the system CPU, the memory, the disk input output, network, and all that kinds of stuff? How do we access those information to be able to look at the performance? How do we do it? Let's go to our machine, Ubuntu. All right, I'm gonna switch back to my root user. Now, guys, if we want to find out the CPU, how many CPU does the system have? Chris, why is this information important? So you're working as a system administrator in a data center or any environment for that matter. And you have a computer that is just running slow and slower and slower, cannot handle much load and stuff. There are some basic inventory you can take to be able to look at to troubleshoot the reason why the server is being slow is not performing at the maximum performance. So you want to check how many CPUs on the server, right? The amount of CPU on the server has something to do with the speed of the server, how much faster it can process information, how much faster it can process queries. So how do I check? How do I check the CPU on my system? The command for that is nproc. Now, this my machine have only one CPU. Can you please run the nproc command and tell me how many CPU you have on your system? I have one, so I put one in here. Please run nproc command. Bindu, good job. Solo one, good job, Solo. Okay, Kona one, good job. All right, Teddy, still behind with your computer. Okay, so nproc will tell you how many CPUs you have on the system. Now, if we want to check on the memory, we want to check on it. I haven't ran the command in a long time. We want to check on the memory. We're going to run the command called free -n. Free-n will give you the memory information in megabyte. So what do we have here? We have 1,963 megabyte. We have used what? 356, and we have 1,438 free. What do we have available? 1,606. Now, you may ask me, Chris, why is the information important? Again, we're trying to troubleshoot a server that is running slow, right? So we want to see how many CPU we have is one, and what is the space we have left on the disk. This information are very vital. So if at all we said we had we have used 1,607 megabyte on this system, right? Which is 1.9 gig. If we use 1.6 gig out of 1.9, we have what, three something left, 300 and some more left, right? We have like 300 and some more left. Do you guys think that this computer is going to be running any faster if you have used 1.6 out of 1.9? Anybody can answer that question. Do you think the computer is going to be at the optimum performance if we have used 1.6 gig out of 1.9?
No.
No. That's a very short answer for it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Solo. It's no. The computer will be running very slow because at that point, your free memory will only be what? 356 megabyte. So that's one way to check how much storage is on the Linux system. The other way you can do is free-g. Now, the -n gives you the size in megabyte. The -g will give you the size in gig. So you see here, we got 1 gig. Are we following? We got 1 gig. And it told you also here we got 1 gig left because what? If you look up here in megabyte, we got what? 1.6. This can only round down to the whole number in gig. That's how you gather information about the size of the disks, what is being used and what is free on the disks. Okay, that's how you check the memory. Now we want to check the disk. Is this smart? Okay, first of all, before we check that, we can run a command called lsblk. Check the disk. There's an architecture of the disk on the computer, how the disk is partitioned. So on our boot, we have this partition right here, SVDA16. Now, this SVDA disk is partitioned into what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Partitioned into 4 different disks. Okay? If we want to check this disk to see whether it's in a good shape or this one, it's a command called what? Smart CTL. This is Ubuntu, so I don't know if this will work. Smart CTL, and you say XVBA1. Smart CTL is not found, so that's probably a Red Hat command. So let's look at a Red Hat server. Let's run lsblk. Okay. So now we say smart CTL XVBA1. Still command not found. All right, my system need to be upgraded here. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to check the health. If you run this command and then put the disk name, oh, okay, the command was wrong. Let me see. It should be, yeah, CTL, smart CT, okay, I got CLT, CTL. Still not found. Okay. Can be installed using, okay, we can install it. So my system needs to be updated. Can install Smart CTL. Did they give an option to install here? No. So, okay, it's done. So let's record it and see if we can get something. There we go. So this is the kind of information on this disk. See AWS, that means it's in the cloud. Manufacturer, Bruce Allen, Christian Frank, unable to detect the type. Please specify device type with -D. Okay. Use Smart HCTL -H to get what? Usage information. So let's see this. Try that. Got a device name, front line argument. Use -H. There we go. So use -H. -H give a lot more information. Okay, Smart CTL -. Okay, these are just different handles that we can use. Testing long, da. Okay, so -T will give a test to test the disk. If you wear that disk is good. But again, most of this stuff you don't need to, you wouldn't have to do it on the job, but it's good to know it just to have the information. Okay? Just to have the information. Let's move on here. Now we got network. We did network earlier on. How do we look at the network? In most of your environment you break in, you have your network managers that will be responsible for the networking part of the job. But it's good to have the basic idea on how things work in the back end as it relates to network. Okay, so there's another command called top. Top command you can also use to diagnose the slowness on the computer, see what system is consuming a lot of CPU, what percentage of CPU is being consumed on a system. So you just run TOP, enter, and you have this whole chart. Now, if you look at this chart is divided into different columns, right? The first column here is a PID user. That's the process ID user. What user is using whatever system that is running here. So for the top command, it's kind of, it will be moving back and forth. So you won't actually be able to pick it up right away like that. So if you look at system D, right, the first one is being used by our root. And how much percentage CPU is this using? It's using 0.7% of the memory. It's using 0.0% of the CPU. So it's not consuming much. So if you had a system, right? If you had a system that is running on this computer that is consuming a lot of memory and CPU, you will get that information from right here. This column right here. You get it from here. You will see how much percent of CPU is being used by that process, and you also see how much memory is being consumed by that process. Are we following?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So most of the time, system running slow. No, I know why it's running slow. They assign it to you. Look into this. The best bet, the few commands we did earlier on, free-n, free-g. Your top command tells you what system they've been using. And the PID here is called the process ID. So say if I want to kill a particular process that is running too much of the CPU, I will grab the process ID. The process ID is what you use to kill that system. Now, will you just go and kill a system that is consuming too much CPU on your computer? No, you wouldn't just do that. You have to consult with whoever is running that particular process. That's why you have user. Who's using that particular process? In this case, our system D is being used by who? Our root user. The process ID here is what? 1. So if I want to kill this system D, I will run a command called kill dash dash F, and then the process ID. By the time I enter that, it's going to kill the whole process. You don't just go kill the process because the process is using too much CPU. You need to find out what that process is doing, whether it is important for the system to run, or whether application your company is supporting before you go and start killing processes all over the place. You can get fired for that. Okay? But I just want you to know that this is how you find out the usage of the system. I know for Windows, there's a way to do it. You go to Task Manager, right? And then you'll be able to see the processes that is running, and then you can click delete and whatsoever. But for Linux, this is how you do it. Okay, let's move on. So this right here, like I said, it gives you real-time monitoring, and you get to know what's going on, what system is running too much, what system is slow, and whatsoever, process ID, who's using it, and what have you. It's real-time monitoring.
Great
So
question.
we have, yes.
So, uh, what's the advantage um between? Well, first of all, I'd like to know: do you only have to kill it, or can you end it?
Okay. When somebody in your life didn't kill you,
Well,
yeah.
in I think the reason why I asked the question is this something that is running that you want to stop, that is slowing certain processes down,
Mm-hmm.
or are you removing it at all?
Okay. Okay. So if the system that is whatsoever that is making the system to slow down, if it is a service, you can just stop the service. But if it's a process, you have to kill the process. You cannot stop the process. You understand what I mean? Like for example, this system D here, is a process, not a service. So only way I can stop it is to kill it. If we have some service running, say like um what how do I even put it? Like Nginx running on your system, or you cannot even stop that. So you have Tomcat running, right? So you have like maybe your test environment, and you have Tomcat running on one of your applications running off a Tomcat server. What you do there is you just run systemctl and stop it. Okay. But if you have a process running in the back end that have a lot of dependencies, or that some dependencies is dependent on a process for the system to run, you cannot stop that. The only way to stop it is to kill it. So it depends what it say that you want to stop.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted the students to understand the difference between stopping and killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if a service, you can stop it. If it's a process, you have to kill it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So that is real-time information running here. If you look up here, all your information is up here. Yeah, they got load average. I mean, the server is not really busy, right? They got how many users on it. It tells you how long it been up. It tells you all the tasks that are running. Okay. How many running, how many sleeping, how many stopped, and all of that. How many in the zombie mode? A lot of other information here. It tell you the memory in this the memory right here in bit megabyte. Total, how much is free, how much is being used, all of that. Okay, that's real-time monitoring on a Linux system. So to get out of there, you hit Control C and clear. So there's another command called htop. What are we seeing here? This one gave you the view of the processes. Are we following? This real-time monitoring in Linux, guys. Real-time monitoring. And article AB, you can feel free to check in anytime you want to. But again, the information that we got on the previous command, about the same information here, right? Where we have the process IDs right here, the user, right? User is right there. But this gives you all the processes running on the system. Now remember, I told you about services and what? Processes. Htop views all the processes. The top command will give you both services and what? Processes. We have here how many tasks are running. We have the low average. We have the uptime right here. Are we following? You can even search by using the option down here. We have F1, F2, F3, F4, 5, 6, 7, and goes on and on. You want to kill any of the process, you use F9 to kill, F10 to quit. Okay? Are we learning something? So the htop command will give you the interactive UI, which is the user interface of all the processes running on the computer. Let's move on. Now we got a VM start. VM start. That's a command too. What are we doing here, guys? We are doing what we call system metrics. The VM start will show you memory usage. It will also show you system processes running, and will show you the CPU activity. What's going on with the CPU? right? What do we have here? CPU information, right here. The last column. Swap memory, input and output, memory size, and what have you. So VMstat also show you memory uses and also show you what system processes as well. And also show you what the CPU activities, what's going on with the CPU, if it's being used too much and all that kind of stuff. So all the different command will give you the same kind of information, but just in a different format. Some will give you more information and some will give you less information. All right, we'll move on here. We have another command called the IOStat. IOStat. So the IOStat command, this one gives you what? Disk information. How the device is being utilized. You can also use it to troubleshoot. All the things I'm showing you here, these are all information you can use to troubleshoot a slow computer. IOStat. If you this information, it also gives you what? The OS information, right? Look right here. What do we have here? One CPU. AWS Red Hat. Right? The Linux kernel information right here. So if you need to know the OS information to run a system, you can also run this command. If you need to know how many CPUs, you can also run this command. All right. And then same thing here. You will look at a percentage of users, the idling. So the computer is very less basic, very idle. We don't have much processes running on it. We give you the disks. These are the disks for the main disks on the system. You remember when we ran the lsblk command, we have all these disks listed. This is the one that was partitioned into 4 different disks. So this is the biggest one. All right. Moving on. If you have any question, guys, feel free to ask. Now we have another command called the netstat. Netstat. Network statistics. That's what I mean. Netstat. Network statistics. Now this one will show you the network connections, routing table, interface statistics. Will you really need this? Probably not. Because stuff that your network managers that want to use to troubleshoot, see what is connected to what, on what socket, all those kinds of stuff. Let's go to the top of this command. Okay, it shows you the state, the type of connection, the inode, and the path of that particular connection where it lives. Okay. Active internet connection with our server. Netstat give you all that information. All right. Moving on. Control C, Control L. We have another command called it SAR. What does this command do? System activity report, daily logs, custom report. System activity report, daily logs, and custom report. Linux restart, 1 CPU. Let's go up here. It shows all our Linux kernel information. It shows our IP address, the date, current version, information as well, how many CPU is on the system. If this system was very busy, you won't be seeing 99.9% here. But because we don't have much system running, so you have a lot of idle time on the computer. So guys, all of these I'm showing you, these are just information you can use for troubleshooting to help find out why you say your server is not performing at the peak. All right. Moving on. We have the free command. Free command is something we already did. We already free command we ran. Free-m give you the memory size in memory size in megabyte. Free-g will give it to you in gigabyte. You use this command to check, and it will also give you the buffer cache, which is right here. Give you available memory, what is in use, and how much is free in the total overall. All right. We have another command called ps. ps. The ps command will, will show you the process listing, and will show you the process tree. These are the process listing here, PID, process ID. These are the processes. And you're seeing sudo here, you're seeing bash, and you're seeing ps. All right. These are basic commands. Now we have another command called uptime. Uptime will tell you how long the computer has been up to the hour, the minute, and the second. It will tell you how many users on our computer. It will tell you the load average of the computer. Okay? Don't worry, we'll soon be done. In the next 15 minutes, we'll be done. Now, sometimes when I run this command, I like to add -p to it, which is pretty, and it kind of refine the output. See here? Computer is up. So if I just want to know just how long the computer been up, not care too much about users and load average, I just run uptime-p, and it will give me exactly 33 minutes the computer has been up. Are we following? Guys, are we following?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we have IOTop. IOTop not found, apt installed, you want us to install it. We already want to install it, I already don't need it. But you can install it on your system. Just copy and paste this command, and it will install it for you. All right, copy and paste, enter, and install it. Simple as that. So now you record that command, run it, now you get your information. Okay, moving on. Now we got another one called iftop. Not found. You can also install iftop. Copy and paste, install. Clear, record iftop, and there we go. So this monitor disk and networking, real life. See what we're seeing here? It's a real real time monitoring of a system right here. Are we following? Okay. Now, we want to check the system boot performance, time to boot, performance tuning, and all those kinds of stuff. You guys are going really deep into Linux here today. Who are missing out? I'm sorry for them. System D that analyze. So I can spell analyze good. ZE, right? System D that analyze. Start or finish in what? 2.2 telling you the last time the machine was started, how long did it take? Time to boot, boot performance and performance tuning. Graphical target reach after what? 17.294 seconds in user space. What are we doing here? We are troubleshooting what? System performance. System performance. All right. So we have monitoring tools, and you're gonna learn more about this. Let me come back here to my PowerPoint so I can show you this one. For our monitoring tools, we have a lot of tools that we use in production to monitor, right? We have the Nagels. You can make research on this. We have Zabbit, we have Prometheus, and we have Grafana, and also Splunk. They add Splunk on this list. My company will use Grafana for some of our applications. And we'll also use Splunk. Splunk is the most popular one we use at my job. Okay, so these are some of the monitoring tools. Sometimes on the job interview, they will ask you, what monitoring tools do you know? Which one are you familiar with? Go and do some research on these monitoring tools. When you get into DevOps, you're gonna know more about them. Get into DevOps, you know more about them. All right. Using top and PS in script, automating monitoring, custom report. So this will kind of bring us into our project. So I don't want to throw too much emphasis on using the script for this. Okay, when we get to the script, I'm going to explain everything in that script and let you know what the script is going to be doing. And that's one of the reasons why we're going over this. So that when you see the script, you see some of these command in there, you know, oh, okay, this line is responsible to do this. Okay, this line is doing this line is doing that. All right. So, case study, several performance issues, blah, 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 low, high, low, diagnosis steps, solution implemented. These are all stuff that will be inside of the project. So I'm pretty sure by next week, we're going to get into the project and start running some of this stuff because we have some lab that are, how they call it, attached in the project. I will ask my admin to kind of put heavy load on some servers so you can be able to troubleshoot them. They're going to create some problems on a few servers so you can troubleshoot them. All right. I see my admin hand up here. AB, is that you?
Yeah, Chris. I know we are at the end of the sessions. Well, I just wanted to to just say this, like, for those of you, I know you might be interested in becoming like an IT auditor or something. You know, Chris, you already know, like, when it comes to the system performance fine tuning that Chris was talking about, you can also track your system egress and egress in the system, like the traffic going in and out. People who trying to unnecessarily attempt to log into your computer, hackers are trying to make their way into your computer. So there's a command you can run. Chris, if you can just run that command for them so they can practice it, which is called like the authorization, right? The authorization logs command. That is the command that we use to view all of the incoming traffic. Users that are making their way into the system, that getting access denied, you can view them in real time. let's say as a system admin, one of your job is to monitor the system performance, right? You can monitor everybody in that organization that going in and out. You can monitor them and view exactly what is going on, how they log into the system, how many attempts they're doing, people that are fighting to change their password, hackers are trying to make way into your computer. Chris, I paste a command in the chat there. Once you can paste that command, it's a very straightforward command. We all know var logs is where we have all of our system logs. So the AUT, which is the authorization logs, is the log that we use for people that have been trying to get authorization and authentication into the system. Yeah. So that's one of the very good commands that we can use in terms of when it comes to system performance issue as well. So if you see here, Chris, once you do it as the system is waiting, just try to log in to this server on another computer, right? Can you give me your IP? Can you give me your IP address, Chris? Let me just try to see if I can log on.
Sure.
Yeah. That will be your public IP though.
I'm a public IPM.
Yes. When you call it to me, I can just get in, try to get in the login detail.
Put in the chat. Oh, you want me to call it?
No, that's a private IP that you put in the chat.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. Right here.
Okay, the telephone 201, right?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second. Telephone 201, okay. One, okay. Oh, telephone 201. Is it is it the list of servers in the lab or is it your
Oh,
personal?
no, that's my private.
Okay, good.
Okay, then somebody else can give this. You want on the same network, right?
Yeah, so I wanted to be the same network, but however, that is yeah, it's fine. So look into that. So for instance, if I try to see if I can log into this server, SSH, what is your username on that server, Chris? Ubuntu?
Yes.
Okay, what you see there, Chris? There's a log that just came there. You see that?
Right.
Authenticated session.
Connection close.
You see my IP there? So I'm trying to create trying to log in. I know very well that I can log in. And these are things that hackers do, right? They try to look for all kinds of means. We call it backdoor attack, on your system. So as a system admin, you bring those IP, you know exactly what these IP coming from. You're doing traces on them. And then you put in more firewall rules in place that blocking those IP. So I just thought to put that out. That is very, very important as a Linux system administrator. This works perfectly well in the cybersecurity domain, but as a Linux system engineer, you also need to monitor your system performance. And one of the tools that we use to monitor our system performance is to fine-tune the system to make sure that the system is up to date. And we have a strong firewall rules put in place to block unnecessary traffic. So that's what I wanted to just pass out there, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. I tell you one fun, right? Last year, I think it was in November, October around there. I went to Liberia and no, it was somewhere in April. Maybe you remember one time I called you and I wanted you to check on my tax information.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I could not access the state how to call it tax reform website because why? I was in Africa. So they set a firewall rule to block certain IP addresses that from certain areas. That's just to how to call it show some more emphasis on what AB was talking about. As a network administrator, system admin, need to have these skills and the tool set to be able to do all of this, because sometimes people want to access your system from different locations. You can actually put firewall rule in place to restrict IP addresses from certain location in the world. Okay, so we will stop here for today. Let me just see where we stop so we can continue from here tomorrow. Monitoring tools overview. So if we have any questions, guys, anybody have any question, we can go over quick before we close in the next 4 minutes. Actually, 3 minutes. Any questions? No? Okay. Somebody got a hand up. Maybe that's an old
No,
hand.
no, that's an old hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the
All
class.
right, guys. Thanks a lot. I will see you guys in class tomorrow. If class start at 8 o'clock, if it's gonna start a little later, I will post in the chat and let you know when we'll start. But it's not gonna be any later than 8:15, sorry.
Yeah.
So have a good night and
7:15 for we are in CST, guys, or 7 o'clock.
yeah, sorry, yeah. CST will be 7:15, Liberia will be 12:15, East Coast will be 8:15, and so forth and so on. So thank you. See
Chris,
you back in class tomorrow.
just quickly as you leave, can you send me that link to connect to the server, which is the
Yeah, Lico,
AWS account?
I'm about to email you your server right now. Yeah,
Okay.
I just got you provisioning your server.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't forget my password, yeah, please.
Yeah, sure, bro.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
And then maybe I need
All right,
any
guys.
link to download the Ubuntu, or it's in that
No, that's a
server.
server. That server we're giving you is what you're going to be using throughout.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 40